Welcome back to Fantasy Football Today, presented by Capital One. Lots of fun games coming up this afternoon for week number 3, Jaguars and Chargers. We know about that storyline there with the quarterback situation. Packers at Bucks, Rams at Cardinals, and Falcons and Seahawks. Should be an interesting set of games for week number 3 later on today. And the line movement has been all over the place here because of the Justin Herbert scenario. So the Chargers went from 7-point favorites now down to 3-point favorites, and it's probably going to be a tough situation to pick this one because not knowing the status of Justin Herbert up until basically game time with that one between the Jaguars and the Chargers. To break down the games here, it's now a fun group with our usual panel. Pete Prisco, Todd Fuhrman, Kenny White joins us here as always on Fantasy Football Today, the best in the business. Thanks, Kenny, for being with us here as always. Let's start with that game, Jaguars at Chargers. So again, the line now 3 points. Todd, what are you advising people to do with this one?
Well, I'm advising our graphics team to make sure the X and Y axis are done proportionally for that beautiful graph we had there. We had a day, we had 3 minutes, so we got to make sure we can follow everything going on there. But as far as this football game is concerned, guys, I'm not sure it matters who's under center for the play I want to make in this game. I'm going under the total in the first half. If it's Chase Daniel, I look for the Jaguars to be able to get after him a little bit, and I think the Chargers defense will take the burden of proof on their own shoulders. Look for them to be more methodical. If Justin Herbert is out there, the number will take off, the total may rise some, but I still like it under because I don't think they're going to make Herbert a sitting duck without starting center Corey Linsley. It'll be an Austin Eckler type game, a short controlled passing contest, and I think we're talking about points at a premium, especially early on if the game is played within one score.
Yeah, it'd be a big difference though if Justin Herbert is going to play. This line is saying he is out. The opening number with Herbert was 7 and 47.5, and obviously down at 3, up to 3.5 now. A little bit of money for the Chargers today. I made the game 4 without Herbert. I made it 9 with Herbert. I have a 5-point difference between the two quarterbacks in today's game, so I'm a slight lean here, -3 to the Chargers. Obviously, when you get a star player like Herbert out, everybody steps up, and I think at home, the defense is going to step up. I think it's going to be a tight game, and I think the Chargers come away with the win. I'll lay the 3 if it was out there for the Chargers.
I really like Jacksonville plus the 7 when that was available. I'll take him here plus the 3 if Chase Daniel is in the game. Obviously, if Herbert plays and he's capable of being who he is, taking 3 is just a bad bet. But I'll take my chances that he's not playing, and I'll take Jacksonville plus the points because I think their defense is that good. I think they're going to be really able to suffocate that run game, too.
Chargers defense has been fantastic. We'll see how things go there. Obviously, if there's Herbert, you're starting him. If there's no Herbert, you're still going to play Austin Eckler. And I still think you look at Gerald Everett. Obviously, Mike Williams, no matter who the quarterback is, should be started. Keenan Allen's going to be a game-time decision for this one as well. Let's talk about the Packers at the Bucks. And this one is supposed to be a superstar matchup between two of the best quarterbacks of all time. However, we know that's not the case because of what's going on with the receiving cores. Offensive line concerns for Tampa Bay as well. Bucks are 1-point favorites here at home, over under 42. Todd, what's the play for you?
I'm going to go right back to the totals market on this game, Jamie. And when you look at where this over-under opened, it was 47.5 at Caesars on the look-ahead. We see the games from week 2. Price reopens at 45.5 and immediately gets boat raced under to where we sit at 42. But I think there's one angle worth attacking still, and it's the first half total at 20.5. You look at Green Bay, they've been extremely slow and methodical. That's been the hallmark of Matt LaFleur. And this team on the road doesn't have nearly the same explosive potential as they do when they're playing at Lambeau. Meanwhile, Tampa, they've been able to move the football between the 20s, but they've bogged down in the red zone. This, in my opinion, will be the toughest defensive challenge to date for them. And we talked earlier in the prop segment, I think Tampa becomes a run-first offense against the interior of that Green Bay Packers defense. Look for long, time-consuming drives, and I think both these defenses can have their way early on. I'm going to go under 20.5 as much as it kills me to do with two Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Yeah, well, Todd, I agree. It's definitely an under game the way both these teams have been playing. Green Bay right now, number 29 in terms of pace, 31 seconds in between plays. Tampa Bay not much faster at number 17. And then ranking the offenses and what they've done so far, Tampa 28th in the NFL offensively, Green Bay number 17. But defense, different story. Green Bay number 6 right now, Tampa Bay number 3. Obviously, wide receivers out, Christian Watson, Sammy Watkins out. You mentioned the offensive line woes for Tampa. When you're missing 5 of your top 8 offensive linemen, it's awfully tough to move that defensive line in front of you. So I'm under here. I think it's going to be a slugfest. 2 great quarterbacks, but might be a lot of field goals today.
I just want to know what I did that they didn't give me the chance to watch Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers throw it around all day. What'd I do? Did I do something this week? I don't know. You know probably better than I do. Did I do something wrong? They cheated me of this. Might be the last time we get to see these guys play in a regular season game. It's going to be about the defense, and I'm going to go with Green Bay's defense, barely, but I'll take the Packers plus the small number.
I said it before. I never thought I would say this. I'd start Justin Fields. I'd start Jared Goff. I'd start Marcus Mariota over Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Those guys are just in better spots based on their fantasy production. I just can't trust these two quarterbacks.
Over Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins top 5 this week. He's going off, baby. All right, let's talk about the Falcons and the Seahawks here. Seattle actually favored in the game. They're favored by 1. Falcons trying to get their first win. They've had some tough losses. The over-under is 42. Todd, what's the play for you?
Yeah, Jamie, this morning we've actually seen a little bit of over money come in, 42 out of 43.5, and I can understand why that side's getting support. I don't have a ton of wiggle room here, but I made Seattle too. So by virtue of that, I'll make a slight case for the Seahawks at home being a little bit discounted. When you look at Seattle through the first 2 weeks, yes, they haven't lit the world on fire. They didn't score an offensive touchdown against San Francisco, but the 49ers and the Denver Broncos are significant upgrades for the defense they're going to face today in the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta plays their second straight game on the West Coast. They did stay in the Seattle area all week. And while the Falcons have been a nice story given how competitive they've been through the first 2 games, it's a lot different asking a bad football team to go into hostile territory and win a game outright than it is to cover and come through the back door as a 10.5-point underdog. I think Geno Smith will have enough time in the pocket to get the ball to Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. I think Rashad Penny should be able to give them balance running the football. And Seattle defensively, in my opinion, won't be put on skates like they were last week against the 49ers. I'll take the home team to win this game by a field goal plus.
I went over the total. I went over the 42. I still think it's value even over 43.5, and it's going to be a breath of fresh air for both offenses to see the defenses they're going to see today, because now they're playing well below average defenses. I have Atlanta 26th in the NFL, Seattle now number 28 on adjusted points. And the Atlanta offense has been good. Marcus Mariota in offense has been able to move the football. They've been able to put points on the board, number 8 in scoring for my adjusted scoring. So, yeah, over 42 for me today should be a nice day.
I'm going to take Seattle here. I think this is one of those games where you get back home. They got kind of caught up in playing the 49ers. A good 49ers team on the road last week, and they looked terrible after that tough game against Russell Wilson and the Broncos. So I think they get back on track. Atlanta's been out on the West Coast for a week. I know they stayed in Seattle. I'm going to take Seattle minus the small number.
Let's go, Kyle Pitts. You're due. We need to see some more targets in your direction. Obviously, Drake London's been fantastic, but we need some production, man. It's been very frustrating for the first 2 weeks of the season after only scoring 1 touchdown last year. A lot of fantasy managers need Kyle Pitts. Let's see it. Arthur Smith, it is fantasy football. Get him the ball. Let's talk about the Rams and the Cardinals. The Rams are 3.5-point favorites on the road here, over under 48.5. We know Cliff Kingsbury said he wants to see a lot more of Kyler Murray playing like what he did late in the games, early in the games. That's on you, Cliff. Let's see how that goes. Todd, what's the play for you in this matchup?
Yeah, of course Cliff wants to see Kyler play more like that. It means less work for him to do Monday through Friday because it's all improv and sandlot football from the pocket. These two teams, guys, for me early in the season were both sell candidates, and the Rams have failed to exceed odds makers' expectations through their first 2 games, 0-2 against the number, and if it wasn't for that improbable comeback against the Raiders, Arizona would be in that same bucket. We've seen money come in on the dog, and I'm left scratching my head a little bit only because Sean McVay has really had Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury's number in recent meetings. Kyler struggled immensely under pressure in the playoff meeting, and while Arizona does have revenge, I'm not sure they're going to put up points in bunches. Meanwhile, on the other side, Arizona's defense getting a little bit healthier. I think they'll be able to generate a pass rush against Matthew Stafford and company. The Rams' offense lacks some of that big play potential that we saw last year. So for me, guys, rather than make a case for either side, I'm going to go under the total at 48.5. I think familiarity breeds contempt, and both of these offenses a full step below where they were at this time last year.
Todd will be going head-to-head on this one. I like over the total here, and I don't like the defense. I don't care if they got healthy or not. I think the Arizona defense still one of the worst in the NFL. The Rams defense has been playing horrible as well. That last week, the collapse late in the game. We know both quarterbacks can put points on the board, Matthew Stafford and Kyler Murray. I think you're going to see that type of Kyler Murray today. That's what he has to do against the Rams. And offensively paced. Arizona's second fastest team in the NFL right now, just 26 seconds in between plays. And the Rams playing up-tempo themselves. They're number 11, 27 seconds in between plays. So I think it's an up-tempo game, a lot of plays, a lot of points.
Forget about the winner of this game. This is the Clash of the Titans, Todd versus Kenny. Forget about who cares who wins the game. Clash of the Titans in this one. Love it. I'm going to take the Rams. I just think they have Kyler Murray's number. He struggles against them. And all that sandlot talk. Hey, Cliff, call some plays that work. How about that? That might work. You can't play sandlot football. It's ridiculous.
Big question, obviously, for the Rams backfield is who's the better of the two. I think Darrell Henderson's still the guy that you trust, at least the number 2 running back, but keep an eye on Cam Akers. Make some buy low offers, because if he starts to play better and takes over that job, you can still get him pretty cheap, at least as of now. Let's recap the picks for the guys here for the 4 o'clock games that we're looking at for week number 3. Please follow their advice. They're fantastic, including, as Pete called it, the clash of the Titans. Rams, Cardinals, Kenny, Todd disagreeing. One likes the under, one likes the over. Can't wait to see who wins that one. We all win for following their advice and helping you win money.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.